Happy birthday, dear Mom.
A Mississippi family torn apart by violence.
This is aerial footage showing the scene in Arizona when several law enforcement vehicles surrounded the car.
Both the Ridgeland Police Department and community still reeling from an unfathomable crime that took away an entire family in one day.
All of these tend to take a toll on the investigators who have to see that.
We lost 3 lives. These are generations, 2 generations of family. This is a sad situation.
On a day meant for family and celebration, a quiet community was suddenly shaken by a tragedy no one saw coming. Inside a home where generations had gathered for years, something went terribly wrong, leaving 3 women from the same family dead and a neighborhood searching for answers. The victims were known as kind, hardworking, and deeply connected to their community, making the shocking events that unfolded even harder to understand. As investigators began piecing together what happened that day, a disturbing detail started to surface, one that would turn this heartbreaking incident into a case that captured national attention. Because the person at the center of the investigation wasn't a stranger. It was someone much closer to home. What happened inside that house, and how could such a devastating tragedy unfold within a single family? This is the story of the Welch family tragedy. Around 3:30 p.m. on May 12th, Mother's Day, Ridgeland police responded to a home on the 7100 block of Old Canton Road after family members contacted Ridgeland PD regarding the welfare of the occupants of the home. Upon entering the home, they would locate a gruesome scene, the bodies of not 1, not 2, but 3 adult females.
This is an awful crime scene. Ridgeland's never had anything like this before. This is new to us, but we have a very capable investigative team, and with the assistance of MBI, I'm sure we will bring this to conclusion soon.
The investigation started on Mother's Day after police forced their way into the house. Once inside, they found 3 women, all shot to death.
The victims were identified as 76-year-old Ida Thomas Welch and her 2 daughters, 56-year-old Vicki Renee Welch and 42-year-old Crystal Lynn Welch. Ridgeland police processed the crime scene with assistance from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Family members became concerned after the trio failed to show up for a scheduled family barbecue. Calls to their cell phones would go unanswered, prompting the family to contact police, who would ultimately confirm their suspicions. Despite knowing something was off, no one was prepared for the horrifying truth. Not 1, not 2, but 3 family members gone at the blink of an eye. I couldn't find much information on Ida or Vicki Welch, but I was able to find a substantial amount of information about Crystal. 42-year-old Crystal Welch had a passion for life, infectious spirit, and enthusiasm. She had such a commitment to excellence with everything she did, and although only 4'11", she had the heart of a giant. Crystal worked as an associate clinical professor at Mississippi College School of Law and served as the board president of the ACLU of Mississippi. She devoted her life to social justice, touching so many lives, young and old. One of Crystal's biggest contributions is her commitment to helping families and children in adoption cases. She was such a heartwarmer, a change maker, a shining light, angelic in her presence, bold, inquisitive, adventurous. She was a tireless advocate for children, grandparents, and families. She went to court, she fought for them, and dedicated her career to giving them happy and wonderful futures. Again, her heart was so big.
I've known Crystal since she was in law school, and it's the same person every time you saw her. You know, she was one of those people, when you see her, you just felt better after leaving her.
John Hall is incoming president of the Magnolia Bar, a group of African-American lawyers.
She understood the value of being an African-American lawyer, and A lot of times it's a thankless job.
Welch was board president of the ACLU of Mississippi, and she worked as an associate professor at Mississippi College School of Law, where one of her last events was graduation this past Friday.
For that to be one of the last things that she did speaks volumes, because that law school was very important to her as she was to it.
Welch's friends and colleagues describe her biggest contribution as her commitment to helping families and children in adoption cases.
As far as adoptions in Mississippi, she was a pillar of that type of work, and has helped make hundreds of families better by doing adoptions.
I've gotten so many calls from members who knew her, who worked with her. She had such a commitment to excellence.
Although she didn't have children of her own, she made it her mission in life to change the outcome for as many children as possible. She was also a devoted and loving aunt to her nephew, whom she treated as her very own. Ida's own son, Ivory James Welch III, was immediately identified as a suspect in the shooting that killed his mother and sisters, but his name wasn't immediately released to the public. Welch's vehicle was seen leaving the crime scene and was tracked all the way to Dallas, making it obvious to law enforcement that he was on the run. An arrest warrant was obtained and the U.S. Marshal's Fugitive Task Force began searching for him. He was subsequently located the day after the shooting by Arizona Department of Public Safety troopers. A spokesman for the Arizona Department of Public Safety said that troopers were alerted to a sighting of Welch at 7:30 a.m. around Stafford, west of the New Mexico line. When authorities spotted him nearly 3 hours later on a nearby interstate, they conducted a traffic stop and attempted to take him into custody. Welch proceeded to get out of his car and presented a firearm, which resulted in a trooper-involved shooting. Welch was pronounced dead at the scene. No law enforcement agents were injured in the gunfire. What will make someone kill their own mother and sisters, go on the run, and pretty much set themselves up in order to be killed by police? According to a family member, Welch was upset about a funeral and his birthday, which was the day before the scheduled family barbecue, and 2 days before the bodies were discovered, Mother's Day. It was confirmed that Welch in fact lived at the home with his mother. However, the nature of their relationship is unknown. A look into Welch's background revealed a history of mental health issues and an extensive criminal history of domestic assaults and simple assaults dating back to 2006. In fact, police were very familiar with Welch. In 2006, he was arrested after physically assaulting a family member. He was then arrested in 2012 for another assault. It is unclear whether Welch was on any type of medications for his mental health issues or if he was seeking any form of therapy. Police are working to get the gun from the shootout back to Mississippi so they can test it to see if it's the same gun that was used in the murders. News of the brutal and senseless murders left the trio's family and friends stunned. In a statement, MFP editor and CEO Donna Ladd said, "Crystal was a force of nature and totally dedicated to helping Mississippi reach its full potential as an equitable and kind state for all of our residents. She dedicated herself by doing the work, and she lived and loved life to the fullest. It was an honor to know her. She will be missed by so many whose lives she touched. Our whole team and board is devastated by her loss. We are so grateful for her service and being able to know her for as long as we did. This is a severe loss to our state." An emotional post made by one of Crystal's former clients read the following: "Crystal Welch was our attorney for all 4 of our adoptions. She was like Law Barbie, so gorgeous and put together, but also super accomplished, yet still so down to earth and approachable. She always made us feel like we were special, like she liked us best, but I think she made all of her people feel that way. She reached out every so often to check on Amy. Specifically, Amy was mesmerized by her glamour and just loved her. She made the legal court part of our adoption process so smooth and easy. She was so accessible and genuinely cared. I've been amazed to learn more about her accomplishments and read the stories everyone has shared about her these past few days. I knew she was special, but had no idea just how special. I'm mad and sad for all the people her death has stolen things from. The friends who have been robbed of her light and presence, her nephew of a lifetime of support and guidance, foster parents who find that kind of gentle sweetness and support so rarely, all the students she could have mentored. The list goes on and on. She really lived a full, fun, and meaningful life. I can't even imagine how her close friends and family feel. I'm praying for peace that passes understanding and provision for everyone who loved her. I just wanted to take a minute to share how she touched our lives. Hashtag Crystal Welch. Perhaps one of the most powerful statements I saw written about Crystal was she lived and changed more in her short life than most people could in 3 lives.
A mother and 2 daughters believed to be dead at the hands of their son and brother, Ivory James Welch III, a tragedy playing out during Mother's Day in Mississippi and ending Monday morning in the Arizona desert. Police identifying the victims as Ida Welch and her children, Vicky and Crystal Welch. Crystal, a well-known attorney who taught at the Mississippi College School of Law and was on the board of the ACLU.
Crystal was just a true delight. She was just a superwoman. She was a fun-loving, intellectual, very passionate about her work.
Ridgeland, Mississippi Police Chief Brian Myers says this all began as a welfare check when family members of the Welches could not get a hold of Ida and her kids.
They had a barbecue party of some sort planned for Saturday afternoon, and they didn't show up for that. They made several calls. No one answered.
Eventually, police forced their way into the home Sunday and found the unthinkable. Ida, Crystal, and Vicky dead in the living room, all 3 shot in the head. Authorities quickly gathered information and identified Ivory Welch as their suspect, getting 3 warrants for murder.
His vehicle was seen leaving the scene, and we tracked it all the way through to Dallas and understood it was obvious that he was on the run.
The U.S. Marshals were tracking him, and Monday morning, Arizona DPS says they pulled over the suspect in eastern Arizona on U.S. Route 191 near Clifton and Morenci for a traffic stop. They say he got out of the car with a gun, and that's when an officer-involved shootout unfolded with troopers. DPS confirming Ivory Welch was killed. Tonight, the Mississippi police chief revealing Welch's checkered past. He says they had contact with Welch in 2006 for domestic violence against another family member, and again in 2012 for assault. As for the triple homicide, they're still investigating motive, but have some working leads.
He may have been upset about a funeral and his birthday, which was on Friday.
We may never know the entire why in this extremely heartbreaking case. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigations is collaborating with Ridgeland Police for the investigation. The case remains ongoing.